Kick-ass facts? Women pretending to be men so they can do cool shit. Ba pew pew pew! Englishwoman Hannah Snell, 1723 to 1791, assumed the identity of her brother-in-law, James Gray, after her child died and her husband abandoned her. For 4 years, she served in the British Royal Marines. Hannah was wounded several times during her naval service, including suffering a musket shot to the groin. Ouch. She purportedly operated on herself to remove the musket ball to ensure her true identity remained concealed. In 1750, she revealed her identity to her shipmates and was granted an honorable discharge and even a military pension. Snell later told her story to a London publisher and eventually opened a pub in London named the Female Warrior. After her mental and physical health deteriorated, she was placed in an institution and unfortunately died in 1791. New England native Deborah Sampson, 1760 to 1827, had a fervent interest in colonial and British politics during the American Revolution. In May 1782, she enlisted in the Continental Army disguised as a man and using the alias Robert Shirtliff. She fought in several battles, was wounded multiple times, and in constant fear of being discovered, she tended to her own injuries, once using metal probes to remove a musket ball from her leg. During the cold march north after Yorktown, Sampson succumbed to brain fever and was taken to a hospital in Philadelphia, where the physician discovered but did not divulge her secret. He treated her until she was fully recovered and discharged from the army. Afterward, Sampson returned to New England, where she married and had children. Her experience in the Continental Army began to attract attention, and in the late 1790s, Herman Mann published her memoirs. She toured across New England. As word of her story spread, she became an acquaintance of Paul Revere, and several events were held in honor of her heroism. She was awarded pensions from the state of Massachusetts and the federal government. The back of her tombstone in Rockridge Cemetery, Sharon, Massachusetts, reads, Deborah Sampson Gannett, Robert Shirtliff, the female soldier from 1781 to 1783. Mary Ann Talbot, 1778 to 1808, alias John Taylor, was a soldier and sailor during the French Revolutionary Wars. The daughter of Lord William Talbot, her upbringing was unsettled, being moved from one guardian to the next. Talbot eventually became the mistress of Captain Essex Bowen, who enlisted her as a footboy on board his ship. Serving in the Royal Navy, she fought at the siege of Valenciennes in 1793, which resulted in the musket ball to her ribs and a sword wound in the small of her back. Returning to England, she died at the age of 30. Joanna Zuber was a Polish soldier who concealed her identity so she could fight in the Napoleonic Wars. In 1808, she joined the army along with her husband Michael and served in the Greater Polish Division. Joanna turned out to be a talented soldier, and she was eventually promoted to sergeant. The Zubers took part in Napoleon's invasion of Russia, but Joanna was separated from the division during their retreat. She managed to escape to Russian territory on her own, and then she returned to Poland safely, where she was reunited with her husband. She was the first woman to receive the Virtuti Militari Medal, which is the highest Polish military honor.